you don't know what you're talking about. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Gly Coolness on the Gly Coolness channel. The place to come where you get to listen to me rant and rave about what it's like to be a YouTube content creator, as well as see some of the behind the scenes stuff of what it takes to run 4 different YouTube channels. So, where am I right now? Well, I just got done dropping off Laura. She's headed out to document a mine all on her own. If you want to hear more about that, just click at the previous video. I posted that before I posted this one. So, you don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you guys, some of you guys, a few of you guys, a handful of you guys, you don't know what you're talking about. What I mean by that is, I don't know, I've been reading down in the comments section, various individuals are saying, oh, good grief, you're spreading yourself too thin. You got 4 YouTube channels. How in the heck are you going to do that? The content's already suffering already. Blah, 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 blah. Well, see, what you don't understand is there's a thing called templates, okay? And what I've done over the last year and a half is I've created a lot of production templates as well as elements that really speed up my workflow. You know, in the old days when I used to make a video, it was all from scratch. I mean, everything was like literally right from scratch. You import your files and then you create your build, and then after that, then you start editing and you just edit out from scratch from the beginning to the end of the video. Well, these days, there's a lot of that I don't have to do anymore because I've created these templates that you can just set in place, and I figure it's sped up my workflow by about 80%. There's a lot of things, without getting into too much detail about the video editing process, that a person can do to speed up everything. You know, you don't have to like reinvent the wheel every single time, okay? And so that's why I'm comfortable now with being able to put together 4 YouTube channels, because I have all of that in place. So really it's just a matter of importing the files, point and click, that segment's done. Point and click, that segment's done. Add a few elements, you're done, and move on with the next thing, and before you know it, the video's produced and ready for the scheduler. So yeah, I mean, I can see what it, looking at things from your perspective, you don't see all of these behind the scenes things, and you think that I'm, maybe putting too much of workload on myself. That's not the case. However, what is the problem is what YouTube is doing to abandoned and forgotten places. Right now, conservatively, how much money we make off of a YouTube video on ANFP is right around $200. So if you're producing 4 videos a month, there's 4 weeks in a month, that's $800. $800, that's it. That's all you're getting, as compared to the old days when it was, well, double that or better. How can a person expect to cover their cost of living expenses as well as all the other overhead on that kind of money? You just can't. And so that's why, because of what the platform is doing to us, we have to branch out and do other things. I mean, that's if you want to make this your job, your life, your work, you have to retool. And it's just too bad, with all of the censorship that's going on in the world right now. It's just absolutely crazy. I mean, you got to be really careful on the platform of what kind of words you use, what kind of phrases you say. You can't mention anything about this, that, and the third thing. It's nuts. It's like us content creators are walking on eggshells, and that makes it really hard for us to maintain our creativity, because we just want to open up and talk about what needs to be talked about. And for somebody like me, I mean, think about this. I'm a guy that loves everything outdoors, outdoor adventures. I love exploring abandoned mines. I love crawling into holes. In my old days, I used to crawl in and out of a lot of caves and do all of that. So, this is my lifestyle. But there is some people in the world, those individuals who are in positions of power that have deemed this to be a reckless activity or promoting a dangerous activity, whatever the case may be. I don't know. It's all conspiracy theory at this point. But one only has to dive deep into your channel's analytics to see that there's definitely something going on, and it's really wrong. It's really, it hurts me. It hurts my heart. It hurts my creativity that this is going on, because I really put so much love and passion into the channel, and for to have the rug just like pulled right out from underneath you because some skinny jeaned latte sipping living in an apartment somewhere in a high rise and wherever seems to think that no, we can't have this, so we're going to press this button and that button and so on and so forth. Not to like totally delete your content, but definitely to put the squeeze on you financially so that you're forced to go in new directions. And that's kind of what's going on. So there it is. I mean, I would love, for those of you who are saying, oh, the content's suffering. As a matter of fact, here recently, we've watched it go downhill, so on and so forth. Well, yeah. When you're out here, working for half of minimum wage, really? Do you think that I'm going to sit at my desk for 20 hours and polish a gem of a high-end production for half of minimum wage? What? Why? I don't know where you work, but I'll bet you're not working for half of minimum wage. It's just crazy what some things, they come out of people's mouths into the comment section. It's like you spew this garbage out there without even giving a second thought of what is truly going on behind the scenes. It's just, well, we in the YouTube content creator community, we call it noise. I call it comment vomit because that's really what it is. It's just content vomit made by some dude who's probably kicked back in his recliner, hasn't taken a bath or a shower in 5 days, has a bologna sandwich with the crust cut off laying on his big fat kettle belly covered in Cheetos, and he's like, I'm going to be the keyboard warrior and give this guy a piece of my mind. Well, at the end of the day, you're an a-hole is what you are, okay? You're just a trash talking a-hole that likes to stir up trouble in the comment section, and if you keep it up, well, all I got to do is hit one button, boop, and you're gone. It's just that fast. So, so that's why I said in this video, you really don't know what you're talking about. And that's the truth of the matter. I've done so many things as a content creator to try to speed up the process so that, I can make a living at this because I enjoy doing this. How many people get the opportunity to bring mining and mining history at this level to a world viewing audience? I mean, that's pretty darn cool. It started about 15 years ago with other YouTube mine explorers that got on the platform in its early days. That's why some of these guys, they, like one of them has upwards or maybe even over 400,000 subscribers. Well, that's because his channel I believe it's around or over 15 years old. And it was developed back in the time when there was no restrictions. There was none of this, censorship and all of this stuff that we have to deal with now. And so it just grew exponentially into what it is now. But guys like me who are trying to do the best that they possibly can, and you only have 178,000 subscribers, well, that's why, because if they don't deem your channel as something within their guidelines or what they perceive, then they do these little things to throttle you back. You don't get as much promotion. Your videos don't end up in people's feeds. Heck, they delete subscribers. It is just absolutely crazy. And I'm really hoping that eventually someone finally pulls their head out of their butts. Or maybe there's somebody in a position of power that says, no. You can't do this no more to these folks. You at least have to send them an email and explain to them what they're doing, what you think that they're doing wrong, what could they be doing better. I've never gotten anything like that from YouTube, ever, and so, that would be pretty interesting. But then again, for them to reveal that, but then again, that's like an admission of guilt on their behalf. Then they would be admitting that they actually are doing something, and they're trying to stay away from an admission of guilt too. It's just a bunch of craziness, it really is. You work so hard to try to create something, and then you just bam, they just keep smacking you around. So that's why on my other channels like Gly Coolness and Tombstone Tours DSE, we're going to do the best that we can to completely stay away from any kind of bad words like abandoned mines or added or portal, and the list goes on and on. We just got to stay away from that stuff, and hopefully that doesn't affect that channel, so that channel can grow and it can thrive on the platform. But abandoned and forgotten places definitely isn't. It's just it's dying on the vine, not because of lack of effort, but because of the way that the platform is structured, how AI, artificial intelligence, is controlling everything. And the only time a person ever steps in, and speaking of that, a person stepping in, here's a good example for you, and then that's probably where I'll end this. So last winter, I decided that I'm going to get a little tactful, for the lack of a better word. So I wrote YouTube and I said, hey, big long email, got a hold of a person, and there was a back and forth exchange of correspondence that occurred over a period of about 3 days. And I basically laid into him and gave him a piece of my mind as to, hey, what gives? What's going on? Why are you doing this? At least so that it would become something on the record. It's on the record that I did contact them, and I did say some things. Well, lo and behold, after that, I took one of my old videos. It was a video that I produced many months prior to that, and I gave it a new thumbnail and I gave it a new title. I called it the Arizona Scar. And wouldn't you know that after having that back and forth with YouTube, that video exploded. I mean, skyrocketed to over 200,000 views. I don't know where it's sitting right now, maybe a quarter million views or better. And I'm scratching my head like, yeah, I see, yeah, throwing the dog a bone, And then shortly after that, then I watch the analytics dip back down, you know, back to where it was again. So that was a good indicator that, you know, oh, it's like, uh-oh, he's onto us. He's onto us. We better dial the knob a little bit closer to the friendly side for a little while. You know, I don't know, let's type in some parameters. Let's keep that knob dialed to maybe 7 for a month, and then force it to fall back to where it used to be. I gotta tell you, what a bunch of baloney, you know? But hey, that's what it's like being a content creator. Speaking of that, before I let you go, I'm gonna make a video one of these days where the title's gonna read, "So, you wanna be a content creator?" And that's where I will lay out everything of what it's like to try to keep your head above water in this business. All right, guys, that's enough blah, blah, blah for today, ranting and raving. I promise you that not all of my videos on this channel are going to be like this. Some of them are going to have a little bit more of a happy vibe. I promise you that. Okay, thanks for coming along. See you again sometime down the road.